Welcome back to We Are Already Free. If you are a longtime listener of this podcast, then you'll know that we've missed the last few episodes. I have reached a kind of overwhelm capacity point, and it's just been becoming more and more challenging to release these episodes on a weekly basis. I've thought of some ways that I'm going to be resolving that, but I really just wanted to hop on today to apologize. This podcast is absolutely precious to me. It is one of my real favorite things in the world. I've got about 5 or 6 recordings already lined up of conversations I've had that I just have not edited with really amazing people, deeply inspiring, profoundly knowledgeable, and epic humans. And I feel in a way that I've been failing them. I've been failing you as a listener. And it's a hard feeling. So I wanted to share something with you today that's been coming up for me as a part of this failure that I've been perceiving in myself. Is that it's been getting harder and harder for me to show up in the ways that I believe that I need to really be the person I want to be in terms of my morning practice, in terms of my podcast. The only thing I'm really feeling solid about is my client work. I'm just witnessing such profound transformations there, and that means a lot. And I also know that if I don't find a way to redirect myself onto my path of my inner practice, my morning practice, those things that are just filling my cup personally, if I don't find a way to realign with that, eventually my client work is going to start to suffer because of it. It's not happening now, and I'm really grateful for that reserve that I've built up over this last really long while of being super consistent with practice, with workout, with ice baths, with all the different things. So I feel like I'm using that reserve now, and it's time to re-put the good things back in place. But what's been coming up, and I had a big realization, this is why I'm here to tell you about it, because it might serve you if you're also someone who struggles with this kind of sense of failure, if you don't get things just right, that perfectionism, that not good enough, like that, and what comes with it. So what came for me was, as I have felt that I haven't been showing up, I start to punish myself. I start to tell stories of, you're a failure, you suck, why aren't you doing the right things? It gets harder and harder and harder, worse and worse and worse. And that makes it a lot harder to then show up again, because I have this story about how heavy it is. What if I fail again? I'm really just a failure. The people who said the worst things to me in my life were all right. The voice in my head is right that says the worst things to me, etc. And it actually reached a really scary point this morning where I hit myself. And it's not an easy thing for me to say. I feel a bit embarrassed when I'm telling you this, that I actually slapped myself in the face and I punched on a countertop to try and like bruise my knuckles. And I did that quite carefully, because I actually did that many years ago so badly that I broke my hand. And I was a professional musician at the time. It was not a good thing. It was a really serious thing that happened. And I'm sharing this because I had an insight about it today, which is the realization that when my nervous system was developing as a young person, as a child, and I had big feelings, big things coming up that I didn't know how to manage. And I really want to preface this by saying I absolutely love my parents. This is not a judgment on them. I've forgiven them. I love them. They're amazing people. They did the best they could. But what would happen is that because neither of my parents knew how to manage their own nervous systems, they were still living in a dysregulated state, is that when I would have those emotional outbursts that weren't because I'd physically hurt myself, but there was something that was overwhelming, either whatever, I wanted something, or I was sad about something, or I was confused, whatever the thing was, the response I often got was, stop crying or I'll give you something to cry about. And I know that this is very common. Many people have experienced this. And what I realized this morning, after I actually had slapped myself in the face, was I realized, and I feel sad for my little Nathan inside, I feel sad for that part of me that feels that when I am struggling, when things are hard, when I'm hurting, that what I deserve in that moment is more pain. I deserve to be punished and hit. I actually physically hurt, because that's what I was trained on, was that those big feelings, those big things that are coming up, if you feel them, then we're going to hit you. And so, of course, as an adult, this is now the default that I fall into when my nervous system is feeling overwhelmed, when I'm in a freeze state. That's what comes up for me. And amazing how the universe works, but I decided the one thing, I was like, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to go and clean the kitchen. So I went and I cleaned the kitchen, I did the dishes, just very basic stuff that I can see the result of very clearly. It was dirty, now it's clean, rather than working on a poem or a post online or something that's very ephemeral in a way. It's like, I'm not sure of how the outcome is going to be. This is very clear, beginning, middle, end. And within that, I just opened up YouTube, and one of the videos that came up was a video by Irene Lyon, and I'll share it in the show notes. It's probably the only thing I'll have in the show notes today. But it was a video about how to come out of a freeze state, which is actually what I'm in those moments, is that my whole nervous system is shut down. I've gone into my dorsal system of my parasympathetic vagus nerve, and I'm basically ready to die. My nervous system has given up. It's what happens when people are depressed, etc. There's a real sense of just surrender. It's like, because I can't do anything, I'm just going to shut myself down. And she talked about it in the video where she said often children who are in that state a lot, they'll read a lot of books. They'll just escape into books. And I did that. I still do that on the days when things get like this. All I want to do is just lie in bed and read a book and just ignore my entire life as it fucking explodes or implodes or just slowly decays. And it's a hard thing, especially now being the man that I am now and being with the woman I'm with and having the life I have and the responsibilities to my clients, the responsibilities to life and the kind of person that I want to be and the life I want to enjoy. It's fucking hard when those feelings come up. I just feel almost harder, but I don't stay in them as long. And that's what's amazing as well. So I have reached out to my support network. I've reached out to my brothers in my men's circle. I've reached out to some good friends. I have the support that I need to move through this. So this is something I invite you to do, is find that support. But Irene, in her video, she talks about the ways that we can navigate that. I don't remember all the details, but it's basically, am I safe externally? Am I actually in physical danger? No, in my case. And if you are in physical danger, that's a different set of results. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about that situation of the nervous system dropping into freeze state and staying there even if externally we're not threatened. So that's the first thing. Safety. Am I safe externally? Yes, I am. Notice that. Then am I safe internally? Actually, yes, I am. And like noticing that and then being willing to feel those big feelings, acknowledging that what wants to come through are big feelings, big things, big feelings, which, as I said, historically would be associated with pain. And so my tendency in those situations, instead of feeling the feelings, I get upset and angry with myself, and then I want to actually physically hurt myself. It's never turned towards anyone else. When I know this has been a thread throughout my life, and I'm saying this, I can't remember the last time I wanted to do this or that I did it to myself or actually hit myself. Anyway, it's very vulnerable for me to be saying this. I hope that you take it in the way that I'm sharing it. It's not something that I enjoy about myself. I think it's very scary for myself. It's scary for my lady if she witnesses that part of me come through. As I said, I'm not violent towards her, but I do become violent towards myself, and it's not cool. It doesn't feel nice. And so today, I think I got this insight, maybe for one of the first times, was the depth of insight of like, of course, when that part comes online, that freeze state, I want to hurt myself. That's what I was shown as a child when I was still forming my nervous system, when I was still learning how to interact with reality. It was like, well, there's something wrong with me. I deserve pain. So I'm just sharing that with you today. I do feel a lot better now. I've had an amazing day. That was all early this morning. And then I had clients and I had spoken with some brothers and I had kind of put the things in place that needed to be in place to support me. And I had felt lighter. And then I went into my client work and had the most beautiful day with all my clients. So thank you. I was actually scared to share something like this initially because I thought, if my clients hear this, they aren't going to want to work with me. And I actually feel sad even saying that because it's that same thing of like not good enough. And I'm practicing so much in my life, welcoming all the parts of me, all the light, all the shadow, all the fixed, all the broken, all those bits that came together to form this person that I am. And I know that I'm doing good work because I witness it. I'm working with my clients. I know that I can hold space and that I don't have to be so-called perfect, but that actually this variety of capacity to have emotion, to have experience, to succeed and fail and try again is all what makes me a good facilitator. It's because I have the empathy for it. So I'm just honoring that part of myself. I'm honoring you, the listener. Please do reach out and let me know how you think about this. Please know the podcast is continuing. I have every intention of, well, as soon as possible, hiring an editor, although that's not financially available right now. But when it is, I will do that. And at this point, I would absolutely be releasing episodes more consistently. It might actually be every 2 weeks. But if I can work out my timeline and my time scale, it'll be as often as I can, up to weekly. So thank you for your patience. Thank you for being a listener of this podcast. Thank you for remembering that we are already free And sometimes freedom is acknowledging I'm hurt, and I'm hurt for very good reasons. And I want to continue working on that. That is also freedom. At least for me, it is. So again, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being a part of this journey. If you're one of my patrons, thank you. If you're one of my clients, thank you. If you're someone who knows and loves me, thank you. I wish you blessings on the path. I look forward to connecting further. Ciao for now.